So I believe Surat Ramji is also going to be joining.
Okay, I think he must have joined by now. Some problem we are facing with that link.
तो जो बाद वाला लिंक भेजा था उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या? पहले वाला तो चेक किया था मैंने, ये बाद वाले
पहले वाले मैंने फिर पहले वाले से ही ज्वाइन किया. Actually, the second one is giving some problem because what I can see is 71 participants.
क्या हमारे को तो सही देख रहे हैं? हाँ देख रहे हैं पार्टिसिपेंट आ गए हैं.
Might be some problem with our members also. I don't know.
So I think Mr. Surat Ram is also joined. So
yes, Surataram has joined.
With your permission, shall we begin the proceedings, sir?
Yeah, we can. I mean, we can.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gagan Sidhu, and I'm the director of the CEW Center for Energy Finance. And I would like to extend a very warm welcome to everybody for today's webinar. Today's webinar marks the launch of the India Renewables Dashboard, which has been jointly developed by the Central Electricity Authority, CEA, the Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and the CEW Center for Energy Finance. Today's event has been broken up into two sessions. Session 1 features the launch of the dashboard, and joining us for the same are Member Planning CEA, Shri Sandesh Kumar Sharma, Chief Engineer Renewable Project Monitoring Division, Shri Surat Ram. Chairman CEA Shri Prakash Maske was supposed to join, but I believe due to a personal exigency, he may not be able to join in today's proceedings. We are also privileged that Shri Sharma and Shri Surat Ram will each be sharing their views in the form of an inaugural address, special address, and vote of thanks. Session 2 will feature a fireside chat on the role of data in accelerating India's energy transition. And participating in that chat will be Shri Vijay Meghnani, who is the Chief Engineering at the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. I'd just like to say a few words on the context of this data dashboard before I hand it over to Sandesh Sharmaji. India has set itself incredibly ambitious renewable energy targets, growing from the 93 gigawatts of installed renewables capacity today to the target of 450 gigawatt by 2030 requires capacity to grow 5 times from its present levels. In the space of just 10 years. IT team, could you just note, Surat Ramji said some participants are unable to join right now.
Oh, we are looking into it.
So as I was saying, India has set itself incredibly ambitious renewable energy targets, growing from the 93 gigawatts of installed renewables capacity today to the target of 450 gigawatt by 2030, will require capacity to grow 5x from its present levels, and that in just a mere 10 years. Importantly, it also requires the mobilization of capital equivalent to hundreds of billions of dollars. This is much more than what can be mobilized from domestic sources alone. And on the topic of capital mobilization, it's important to emphasize, while factors such as risk and return are crucial to making investment decisions, so is information. And capital does not flow in information vacuums. It is also a fact that the pandemic, which continues to impact societies, economies, and nations, has put a sharper focus on renewables than was ever before. This focus cuts across all countries. And in that sense, India finds itself competing with the rest of the world for global capital. It is in the above backdrop that the dashboard assumes particular significance, and it is in the above background that the CEA, Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and the CEW for Center Energy Finance got together to plug this information gap. I would now like to request Member Planning CEA, Shri Sandesh Sharma, to share his thoughts. Very briefly, by way of background, Shri Sharma joined the CEA in 1984 and took over as Member Planning in March 2019. He has been associated with the formulation of the National Electricity Plan and the Make in India policy for generation, transmission, and distribution. He also serves as ex officio Additional Secretary to the Government of India. So I request you to now kindly make the special address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gaganji. Namaskar. Namaskar again to everyone. Today, we are meeting for some very important cause, which we will be deliberating throughout this meeting. Now, I, again, on behalf of myself and CEA, welcome you all to the launch of this important dashboard for renewable power. I wanted to welcome through a special welcome address our chairperson CA, but almost an hour back, I got a call from him because of some personal exigencies. He could not be joining this meeting. So he has conveyed his message to me that I will be covering. So further going into my speech, I extend my special welcome. I think members of the authority are finding some problem in joining this. Otherwise, I convey and extend my special welcome to CEEW. But unfortunately today, Shakti Foundation Group is not present. That is the most unfortunate part, that they are the key stakeholder in the development of this package. Today, when we are talking of renewable power, we have set up what Mr. Gaganji has said, ambitious target. I call it as a massive target to be achieved by India. By 22, we are going to almost reach a figure of 37% of the total installed capacity in terms of renewable power, which will further rise to 55% by the year 2930. So it is really a massive integration into the grid. The capacity target for solar and wind, which we should appreciate is the most intermittent power, which is depending on nature, is around 300 gigawatt and 140 gigawatt. Here comes the challenge, and here comes the need for the development of this package. This is something, an important task, which was entrusted to your group CEEW and Shakti Foundation, and in CA, with the help of your group, has developed, and now we are at the verge of basically launching this package. Going further on what we are going to achieve by the integration of renewable power, our carbon emission is going to reduce by 30% by the year 2930. And this is the figure which is based on our system studies, which we have carried out under optimal generation mix. The indications so given to us are comfortable but challenging. A lot of challenges we are going to face. On one side, we made a commitment of achieving a target of 40% of non-fossil fuel based capacity addition by 2930, which of course we will be going to meet by 2930 in the form of almost 63% of the total installed capacity. But we are going towards a system need for system integration in a very specific manner. It should be scientific, it should be efficient, it should be optimized so that consumers are not loaded with such integration. As we all know that data is one of the most critical part of any system planning. So what we need is to create an environment for efficient planning and system forecasting and scheduling. So for that, we need certain projects which can acquire realistic data in the form of conventional power, in the form of renewable power, but it has to be structured. It should be easily understandable by these stakeholders. I'm sure the launch of this India Renewables Dashboard will help in accelerating the deployment of renewable power, infrastructure planning, efficient operation of the system, efficient forecasting in the future. Today, we all know that forecasting for India or forecasting in India is not up to the standard. So what we need is some background system which should operate for giving us a platform for efficient forecasting also. We have to appreciate that renewable power is most intermittent, and as such, what we require is efficient planning and forecasting, which certainly going to be sorted out with the help of this dashboard. In the future, the renewable tracking and its integration into the system will be the central focus for all our planning criterias. As all we know that we are at the beginning of developing and formulating the 20th electric power survey, where we need this information, what we are going to gather and acquire through this package. At the same time, we are also working on the National Electricity Plan. There also the renewable integration, which is massive by the year 2930. We need certain protocols where we can basically acquire the efficient, realistic information on renewable power. Of course, long back, almost 2 years back, when I joined as member planning, we used to discuss why we are not able to gather the information, what we are gathering for the conventional power. So a lot of thoughts have come, and thanks to Vijay Meghani, that he came out with this idea of development of a software application program through a dashboard, and made up basically a proposal to me whether we can go ahead with this or not. By going through the details and having discussion with CEEW, we thought that this is the right way of approaching the future for planning studies. There was a clear need, there was something which was very important, and now today, with your help, we are at the verge of achieving the what we thought of almost 2 years back. I have no hesitation in appreciating the team led by Mr. Gagan Sidhu, and of course, they are not present, the Shakti Foundation officers, the officers from RPM division, but not the least Vijay Meghani, who is also fortunately present today. He must be the most happiest person today to see that the dashboard is being launched by CEA. He was basically talking to me each and every day when we are going to launch this dashboard, and it is his basically insistence which has made this important job to be achieved today. I think whatever we are going to acquire through this dashboard will be of immense use to the government sector, not only to the government sector, but to the policymakers, investors, industrialists, whosoever is want to use the information for constructive use, constructive planning, constructive scheduling and forecasting. They will be taking immense help from this package. This is the beginning of a new era in the renewable power generation and capacity addition. With this background, we are launching this package today. Of course, unfortunately, we are not having our chairman to launch this package today. The details, of course, will be presented before the participants by CEEW through a very small, brief presentation in the subject. Before I complete, it is a proud moment for me. I just want to add here that this may be the first project I started when I took over as member planning, but maybe the last before my retirement. So I'm also very happy that it has been launched during my tenure only, because I'm going to retire by 30th of this month. So I again convey my gratitude to the team of CEEW. Of course, I request someone to convey it to Shakti Foundation. My gratitude to them also for funding this project, to the officers of RPM division to ensure that this is developed in a most efficient and effective manner and is basically launched during my tenure itself. I wish for further development in the culmination of data building and dissemination will build upon this dashboard. It is a springboard for the benefit of the stakeholders. So we are going to get a lot of out of this package. With these words, and thanking you all to be present today for the launch of this program and the team which has built this package and the platform for the acquisition of very important information which we will be required for all our future studies. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Santeshi, for those very kind words. This has been a collaborative effort between CEA, Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and CEW. But of course, it's the CEA which I think has played the pivotal role here, without whose leadership and guidance, none of this could have happened. I think particularly your words on contrasting the scale of the challenge versus the scale of the ambition in light of the fact that renewables is an intermittent generation source are particularly very important. And I think data itself will go a long way in making sure that those challenges are mitigated to whatever extent possible. So thank you, sir, again for those remarks. Next, I would like to invite my colleague Shrey Sood to make a briefing presentation and explain to the audience exactly how the dashboard helps in bridging the information gap.
Yeah.
Over to you, Shrey.
Thank you so much, Gagan. And thank you, Sandesh Sharma, sir, for so beautifully outlining the idea and the problem that we are trying to solve. So I'm just... Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shrey Sood from CEW Center for Energy Finance. I'm going to give a brief presentation on the India Renewables Dashboard. Here, I'm going to give some small context on the organization, talk about why there was a need to conceptualize and develop this dashboard in the first place, and later on give some broad, showcase some broad features of the dashboard. So the Council on Energy, Environment and Water is one of Asia's leading not-for-profit policy research institutions. CEW uses data, integrated analysis, and strategic outreach to explain and change the use, reuse, and misuse of resources. CEW has 7 focus areas and 1 Center for Energy Finance. I am from the CEW Center for Energy Finance. CEW Center for Energy Finance acts as a non-partisan market observer and driver that monitors, develops, tests, and deploys financial solutions to advance the energy transition. We do this by building evidence, by closely monitoring and tracking the clean energy market, by creating coherence, by deliberating on market activities in clean energy, and regularly setting up multi-stakeholder discussions, and finally, by designing fit-for-purpose solutions to address the pain points of our stakeholders in the clean energy sector. India Renewables Dashboard is one of those solutions. Again, coming to the same question, why was there a need to conceive and develop this dashboard in the first place? Firstly, India has set up an ambitious target of 450 gigawatts of installed renewable energy capacity by 2030. To achieve such a target requires investment in billions of dollars. And for that to happen, it becomes essential that easy access to project, state, regional, as well as national level data is available readily. Secondly, going forward, as India deploys more RE capacity, just region-wise or state-wise renewable energy data won't suffice. We would need to go deeper and track granular project-level information for better planning. Thirdly, unlike the non-RE sector, in the renewable energy sector, there are tens of thousands of projects and who are generating information in loads on a daily basis. And it becomes essential and pivotal to gather that information, to organize it, aggregate it, so that insightful insights can be generated on a very frequent and an easy basis. So what does the India Renewables Dashboard does to solve for this? It tracks the data across one country, which is India, its 5 regions, northern, southern, western, eastern, and northeastern, all the 37 states and union territories, and like I mentioned before about tracking a project, it also tracks 61 ISGS projects. It does all of this across the 7 technologies, ranging from solar, wind, biomass, gas, solar rooftop, small hydro, and others. The dashboard provides daily renewable energy generation data for states and ISGS projects rolled up to a regional or a national level. Here, you can see a snapshot of one of the sections of the dashboard wherein you can see the trend for the daily generation data through solar, wind, and other RE for the past 30 days. Here you can see the cumulative or the summation of that generation, energy generation, for solar generation, for wind generation, as well as for the other RE generation. Here you can also see in the past 12 months or the past month, the highest, what was the highest generation day for renewable, for solar, or for wind. And also you can see what was the amount of CO2 emission mitigated on a daily basis. As mentioned earlier, in addition to generation, we are also tracking the installed RE capacity. Outlining this is another snapshot of a section from the dashboard where I can see the trend of the installed solar installation from May till Feb of this year, and I can toggle on different tabs and I can see the same trend for various other technologies. I can see the cumulative trend and I can also see the trend by net addition. Pulling on from extending from this, I can also see a breakup of technologies by region. So if I'm on a solar in various regions, I can see for wind, I can see for other technologies as well. What does this, so mainly till now, we have talked about how we are trying to solve for the stakeholders which exist in the sector and how we are trying to address the pain points for them. But also in all of this endeavor, in all of this, when we started this project, we have made it our benchmark to not only solve for our stakeholders, but also to solve for our partner, which is C, to make their life easier, efficient, and reduce the manual intervention. So how did we do that? We have given a CA end-to-end backend where they can seamlessly import data into multiple formats for their ease. They can also generate various kind of reports, daily generation reports, as well as monthly generation reports automatically using this backend itself and publish onto our dashboard. Thirdly, in doing all of this, we have tried to improve the productivity of the RPM division of CEA by reducing their time to spot errors in managing large amounts of data and publishing reports. So this is it from my side. I'm going to hand over to Gagan to take it from here. Gagan, over to you.
Thanks, Shrey. Thanks again for this wonderful, I think, very concise and very to-the-point presentation. Just to reiterate a few points for the benefit of the larger audience, this data on the dashboard will be freely available to all users. It'll be freely available and downloadable in multiple formats. It covers daily generation. It gives you an indication of the mitigation benefit from that generation. And it's on a state, regional, and national level actually the state and regional level rolled up into a national level. So once again, Shrey, thanks for that really nice presentation. Next on the agenda was the inaugural address by Chairman CEA Shri Prakash Maske. But as mentioned at the outset, due to a personal exigency, he will not be able to join us today. So in his place, in order to add to some of the very interesting points that Sandesh ji made at the outset already, as well as to formally launch the dashboard, Sandesh ji, may I request you to give an inaugural address and to formally launch the dashboard.
Thank you again, Gagan ji. Before I start, what Mr. Maske has conveyed to me, I welcome Shri Dinesh Chandra ji also. I think he has also joined this meeting, which is important. And after I quit this organization, he will be the key leader to take care of all this. So to start with, I have just got a message from our chairperson that he will not be in a position to attend this function, but he conveyed that the function should go on and this dashboard should be launched today itself. No further delay in the launching of this. And what I have got is a message from him, which I am going to read. I don't want to put any words from my side into that. So it will be good if I read that. It is his inaugural address. I am just reading out. On this important occasion of launch of India Renewables Dashboard, I welcome members of the authority. I also welcome officers of CEA, CEEW, Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and all distinguished guests and participants. I just want to add here, I have just got a message. Mr. PC Methani has also joined. He's a very close friend to me from MNRE and always a person who I love if he is attending the meeting which I am attending. Thank you, Methani ji. Then Mr. Maske also said, at the outset, I would like to appreciate RPM division of CEA, who tirelessly coordinated this task as a joint effort with CEEW and successful development of India Renewables Dashboard took place. One of the key challenges for both policymakers and investors is tracking of India RE sector. India Renewables Dashboard is thus a welcome step which will helpful in tracking the RE sector with more visibility. The dynamism and user-friendliness of the India Renewables Dashboard allows users to access data in a flexible formats and conduct their bespoke analysis. The special feature of this dashboard is its availability in the chat window makes its access more easy and for everybody. The vision of creating the dashboard like this is to create a national renewable energy database where rich granular data such as state/project level generation, forecasted and schedules generation profiles, project techno-commercial details, financial flows, CO2 emission mitigations, project development, etc. are available for user to actively monitor India's renewable energy sector. I feel that in time to come, many modifications and new features will be added to the dashboard, and CA with CEEW and Shakti Foundation will continue to part in this endeavor. At the last, I congratulate the RPM division, CEA and CEEW for this achievement. I officially launched this India Renewables Dashboard to be made available for the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandesh ji.
Gagan ji, please.
Thank you, Sandesh ji. Thanks for those wonderful words of encouragement, which you conveyed, but which were Chairman Maske's words as you pointed out at the outset, when you get a chance and opportunity, sir, please do convey our gratitude for his words of encouragement, as well as, of course, thank him for his and CA's ongoing support, without which this could not have happened. For the benefit of the larger audience, once again, I'll reiterate that the dashboard is live and it is now freely available by all at the URL www.renewablesindia.in. That's www.renewablesindia.in. Next, I'd like to request Shri Surat Ram, Chief Engineer of the Renewable Project Monitoring Division, to deliver the vote of thanks to mark the end of the session one. Maske ji's words of encouragement specifically pointed out the Renewables Project Monitoring Division as playing a key role within CEA, which in turn itself played a key role in developing this dashboard. And I think it's only fitting that Surat Ramji delivers the vote of thanks and brings the session one to a conclusion. So Surat Ramji, with those sort of remarks, we request your vote of thanks as well as your thoughts on this project, which I'm sure the audience would love to hear. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, sir. Are you able to hear me, sir?
So you're not audible.
Hello. 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 Is voice reaching you, sir?
The voice is a bit low, sir.
Hello. Hello.
It's better.
Is voice audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Can I request you to speak a bit louder, sir?
There is some problem in this. I'm speaking louder, but must be something wrong with the mic. But I'll make efforts. It's audible to all of you. So again, good evening to all of you, sir, and good to hear the encouraging words by the members and then chairperson and the CEEW and all. So at the outset, I'd like to, I'm honored to put a vote of thanks. So respected chairperson, represented by our member, Sharma Saab, member planning, the members of the authority, all senior officers, then from the Ministry of Power, from MNRE, CEA, POSOCO, and our partners in the creation of India Renewable Dashboard, Council for Energy, Environment and Water, and the Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation, and all participants present at the occasion of the launch of India Renewable Dashboard. Is it audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, as the brief prelude by Shri Gagan Sidhu, Director C, have backgrounded the dashboard with the history. Shri Shud explained the dashboard's brain and beauty, and respected chairperson through Sandesh Sharma sir and member planning Sandesh Sharma sir have foregrounded it with the hopes and promises the dashboard holds for the RE and power sector. I'm glad to present the vote of thanks at the conclusion of the launch ceremony. First of all, we are grateful to the organizations of CEA, CEEW, and Shakti Foundation for creating and operationalizing a wonderful web creation, which is the need of the hour in the year of big data and digitization. We are grateful to Chairperson CA for guiding us in this endeavor from the idea of creation of the dashboard to till today successful launch of the IR dashboard. We are extremely grateful to him for sparing his valuable time through Sharma sir at the launch. We express our gratitude to Shri Sandesh Sharma sir for guiding us the full trajectory of the project since its inception to the final public delivery today. We are equally grateful to all esteemed members of the authority whose presence have motivated us, the propounders, the architects, and the teams of experts behind the creation of dashboard, which entailed a coordinated, dedicated effort. We are also grateful to MOP and Shri Ghanshyam Prasad Saab, Joint Secretary Thermal, for being with us at the moment of pride for us all. Sir, we acknowledge the participation and support of the MNRE and Shri Mehtani Saab for taking off his precious time to be part of the launch of the IR dashboard, and also Suni Saab, Advisor POSOCO, for his motivating presence. This all success is founded on cornerstones, and this dashboard is no exception. So we express our gratitude to Shri Mengani Saab, who is the cornerstone of this dashboard. He thought out the dashing idea of dashboard and contributed and continued to be associated with it till the final delivery of the creation today. We are extremely grateful to Shri Mengani Saab. We are immensely grateful to Shakti Foundation and CEEW for coming together with CEA to create and deliver this dashboard. CEEW conceived the idea of dashboard from Mengani Saab with felicity, gestated it well, operationalized under the espousal of Shri Sharma sir, member planning, with all safety and security reports, and now relieved with the safe delivery of the baby at the dexterous hands of veteran chairperson and member Shri Sharma sir, with clinical precision assisted by the team of ACE Authority, PCEs, JS Thermal, MNRE at all. We are all grateful to Secretary CA, all chief engineers, our colleagues at the division of RPM, RT&I, R&D, the Office of Member Planning, and the whole team of CEEW and Shakti Foundation, who have helped us all along and in this program with all resources and promptness. So once again, we thank you all for making it big, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Surat Ramji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for that.
I don't know, sir, audible or I'm not able.
Hello. Thank you, Surat Ramji, for those encouraging words. And again, you know, for your enthusiasm and we could see that this is not just any other kind of project or work that you're doing. Your enthusiasm came through in the way you were describing it. So really, really appreciate it. And once again, you know, I'd like to bring to a close session number 1 with that vote of thanks from Surat Ramji. And we will now be moving on to session number 2 of this event. As I mentioned at the outset, the session number 2 features a fireside chat on the topic of how data can accelerate India's energy transition. Joining us in this fireside chat will be Shri Vijay Mengani and my colleague Disha Agarwal, who is a program lead at CEW. Shri Mengani is Chief Engineering at the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, CERC. He has 25 years of experience in the power sector, having worked on transmission system planning, grid management, and transmission tariff and pricing, among other areas. He was previously chief engineer at the RPM division of the CEA, and in that capacity was intimately involved in the conceptualization and the development of the dashboard. Our team has worked with him very closely over the several months it took to develop and fine-tune and finesse this dashboard. So before we begin the conversation with you, I'd like to request you to say a few words on behalf of your personal role in this and your interest and how you think this is and how the value you see in this dashboard, both from a policy planning perspective as well as from the perspective of investors, as well as any other areas that you think need highlighting. So Mingani sir, over to you for a few remarks, and then we will move it on to a conversation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gagan. I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody, all my seniors, my friends, and all the persons who have been invited. Thank you for your blessing and support for this program. I remember that after 15 days of joining under Mr. Sandesh Sharma in member planning office, we were facing difficulty in collection and compilation of renewable data. And this was not a unique problem to our renewable data in our case. What is happening, our other divisions also wanted that the renewable data should be collected at one place. I remember 2-3 chief engineers requested that some data which is essentially required for planning is also not available, and lot of assumptions need to be made. And as a normal stakeholder, means a bystander in power sector, we were also facing a lot of difficulty in getting a renewable data at one place. When we created a target of 175 gigawatt, my first objective should be to make this target visible to everybody, and the progress should be made available to everybody. And progress should not be measured only in the megawatt. What is the performance of all these assets? These need to be shown to the world, because international finance was the most important object for the renewable sector. It cannot be done by a single country. So one sudden morning, Disha was at that time in another organization. So she contacted me that they want to associate it with CA, because CA is a long history of having a good data deposit. Only problem is that we are not showing off it. And whatever data is available to CA, it should be useful for every stakeholder. It should not be only useful for power sector. It should be useful for international community, investor, government, and a general stakeholder. Means public should also know that how these resources are being deployed and how much will be the progress will be made. So at that time, what was happening around from 2014 to 2017, I closely observed there is a continuous struggle between thermal and renewable. People are projecting this as a fight between thermal and renewable. This we want to break down. We want to show to the world that India is going toward a energy sufficiency, and India will adopt all possible measures to make the power available to every consumer. So to make our data visible to everybody, it should not be in the static form of PDF. Everybody is saying to CA that whatever data you are sharing, that is not usable. Every data should be usable for the public. So my first objective was to make this data available in the downloadable form. So we frame a network with the CEW Finance and the Shakti Foundation, that how we will move about. And initially we faced a lot of difficulty. We were not clear about what we want to do, whether we want to automate our process only, or we want to share the data with the public at large. But I am happy to know that both this objective has been fulfilled within this effort. Not only our CA work become easy, we are able to share all these data with the public in usable, downloadable format. And whatever is we have achieved, it is only a first step. But I will say the key to the realizing a dream is not only focus on success, but on significance. Because when we focus on significance, then even our small each step or small victory will become significant to us. On this platform, we will build a lot of things. It is only a single step on which we need feedback of everybody. It should not be that some authority has created, so nobody has the power to criticize it. We welcome every criticism, every comment. the public will give, and I have full confidence in my CEW young friends. These are very open to criticism. They are open to amend. Whenever we want a change, they quickly make change available to us. So there is a no formal change required. They automatically create whatever we want. So CEW team, our RPM division, and the Shakti Foundation, our objective is to give what you want. It is not useful for only for me, or it should not be have the fate of other dashboards. Many dashboards have come, live for a few days, and gone into obscure. We want this should be a lively dashboard with the interaction of all these people. We will seek the guidance of all, Mr. Suni, Mr. Sandesh Sharma. Even after retirement, he will keep us guiding for this portal development. Our chairman, etc. All the people who is involved in this exercise will keep on guiding us, and we will need your support to make this effort very successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meghaniji. I really appreciated your comments on the fact that, this dashboard needs to be a live thing, in the sense it's not static and it is not finished yet. It is something that is a work in progress. I also like the fact how you put it, that it fixes a real problem, and that real problem was actually quite simple. That data was not downloadable in a way that everybody could use it. And I think also one of the things that I like to think is data in itself is kind of the starting point, and everybody has a different way of analyzing the data. And by giving this data freely to all in a way which is downloadable in a variety of formats, it actually empowers everybody, whether it's the investor, whether it's the policymaker, or whether it is the average citizen who is interested in understanding about RE penetration. It empowers them with the base data and allows them to make their own bespoke analysis, allows them to make whatever analysis they want to understand what the future is for this incredibly important source of generation for India. I'd like to open the discussion now, sir. And Disha, if I can sort of ask you to kickstart with some questions, and I will jump in after that. Over to you, Disha.
Yeah, thank you, Gagan. Thank you so much. A very warm welcome to all of you, all members from CA, Mengani ji. I very fondly remember, sir, we started these discussions around mid of 2019. And as you said, with much enthusiasm, the young and vibrant team of CWCEF also came on board. And with that commitment and dedication, started working on it. And today it's a very proud moment, sir, that we are launching this with support from Sandesh ji, Chairperson CA, Surat Ramji, all the other team members at CA, and very pivotal role, Mengani ji, you played that time. And very grateful, sir, you could take time out today to be with us and maybe share with the audiences the thought process behind it. So just to start with, like you said, this is the starting point, and much work can be done to strengthen this data portal today that is launched. So, sir, according to you, we all discussed that there's a massive target ahead of us, 2030 target, and the pace at which we are adding renewable capacity will only have to grow to meet those targets. So like we were discussing, the progress monitoring, tracking becomes pivotal, and also planning for supporting infrastructure that is required. So not only we are adding RE at a rapid pace, but there are other changes also happening in the sector, other disruptions that we are seeing. So sir, in your opinion, what kind of role or function, so in a little bit of more detail, if you could tell us what functions can such a dashboard play, given that it already has certain data at the state level, some project level data, but going forward also, if you could shed some light on the utility that the dashboard can serve.
Yeah, thank you, Disha. I want to take up the issue of data from whole value chain, because the power sector data is a basic critical infrastructure for the country. So what we wanted to use this data dashboard is from planning stage itself to market. Means at the planning stage, what are my planning engineers require, what type of data transparency or which type of micro level data they want. I will tell you the problem in planning. What had happened when we started planning for 2020 and even from 2022, whatever target was given to us from MNRE, say 175 gigawatt. But these were macro target. We have to broke down this target into the resource rich area. But we do not know which exact location the new renewable comes. Even at that time, we do not know how many, at which point of the grid existing renewable generating stations are there. So 175 gigawatt target was given, and everybody was sectoring asking to us whether it will come or not, how it will come, which state will participate, and we are certain that you will be fail in this target. But CA team, when they visit to MNRE, MNRE told us, take the option versus 175 gigawatt, option 2 175 gigawatt, and option 3 175 gigawatt. So now we have started from scratch. And when people were asking that why you have made so much of big target when you have no visibility, you have no projects sites ready, no finances ready. So we used to tell them, मंजिल मिले ना मिले मुझे इसका गम नहीं, मंजिल की जुस्तजू में मेरा कारवां तो है. So from this, my IRP division, which was sitting just near to me, they given me a task. First, find all the renewable generating station. My work start from there, and then we started building. That at that point, you are collecting state data in around say 55 days. So first, our target was how to reduce this target. So first, every data has a shelf life. If we give data after too much period, it will lost its value. So first data should be given as early as possible. So early possible, we decided target that we will first give the daily data. So we started giving the daily renewable generation data. Then we collected the monthly generation data. Then we increased the target that I will collect every power plant data. After achieving the past data, we will focus on the future data also. Whatever SECI projects were planning, there is a lot of mismatch between generation and transmission. And any mismatch between generation and transmission is going to cost my public. All the assets which are being created, if they are not matched, cost will increase. So whenever we want to promote renewable, every time we are facing the blame that it will be costly than the thermal power plant. And there was a rivalry that we are making thermal useless. So we want to make this option clear that how much is the value of the renewable. So for the country, how much is the renewable? It is not only in the energy term, but on environment term, we are contributing. There was some hidden subsidy in coal sector, etc. So we do not want to in that fight. We want to go for not an energy transition. Our target is go for a just transition. Just transition means how we will use our existing asset optimally, make more and more power available to consumer, and also fulfill our international commitment, which were given in the Paris Agreement. So our all stakeholders which are looking towards us should have clear visibility. What we were finding that even 2-3 ministries are not coordinating well. One ministry targeted only 175 gigawatt, another ministry taking transmission. So there should be some bridge of the data. So we have to bridge the gap between data. So once we bridge the data gap, what will happen? People will be able to visualize the progress of project also. And they will be assured that even if I cannot reach 175 gigawatt, at least I would reach 100 gigawatt, 125 gigawatt. So visibility will be there. Investor will be very much confident that their money is not going waste. As early return will be possible. So from finance side, from engineering side, from consumer side, we want to make this data useful. And for that, performance is also very important. We have two types of project. One is state project, one is a ISGS project. What we have observed that ISGS project are giving very good performance. But this performance is not visible. So we have put up the ISGS generation data also. And you will be surprised that in certain solar cases, we find the CUF around 27-28%. It may be based on overcapacity, etc. But at least people are knowing that the generating stations are performing well. Then there is a blame of curtailment, etc. So we have to dig down between how much is the curtailment is there. So curtailment should not be only a newspaper headline. Whatever curtailment is there, we should be able to capture, and we should capture and compare. What was our target in our Your Renewable portal is, its data should not be only visible for the present period. It should be comparable with the past period, so that the planning people, perform, everybody see how the assets are performing. Like in one case in August 20, we found that our wind generation has dropped drastically. So even our renewable assets are facing the problem of climate changes. So from consumer, planner, international stakeholder, ministries, we want to make data as an important tool for the energy transition. It is not a after product. It should not be a product which we use after everything happens. During the process also, how this data can be made useful for general public, this is our target.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I have a quick follow-up question on this, sir. One of the things that we observe is that data disclosure levels may not be on an equal footing between conventional power and renewables power. So is that really, do you think it is because when policymakers were charting out India's energy transition, nobody imagined how quickly the energy transition would evolve? And at that point, the thought process was not geared towards data disclosure. And is that one of the reasons? Or linked to that is the fact that the number of projects, or the sheer number of projects for renewables happens to be huge, massive compared to conventional projects. So is it because of those two reasons? Do you think that at the outset, data disclosure was not woven into the system?
Actually, I will like to confess something also. When you say the conventional data is available, even up to 2017, when we were preparing the National Power Portal, the data availability from conventional generating station is also not as good as it should be. What is happening? There are different channels of data. Unless the data is made automated, that there will be a gap in data. But fortunately, what has happened whenever we started the renewable planning, what we have done is we have created a renewable energy management center. Lot of infrastructure is coming up to pick up the real-time data of renewable generation also. So whatever mistake we have done in conventional sector, we do not want to repeat it. So at the regional level, around 8 REMC initially and 3 later, we created only for that, because for renewable, we need a better visibility than the conventional. Because due to variability, their impact of system operation is more. But what is happening, there was different channel, like every wind generator give data first to the SLDC. From SLDC, some consolidated data goes to RLDC. And then it's come to the central level. So we have to decide whether we require a repeated data punching or we can use the existing resources optimally. So we have started to use the whatever good infrastructure is created by our POSOCO. They have good infrastructure for data communication, etc. Data is available. If I want to go for creation of parallel data capturing system, it will take years. So first, like we are telling, this is the first phase of project. At the first level of project, we are getting the data from whatever is available at the POSOCO. And from state level also, we have a lot of communication. And you will be happy to know some states are ready to share block-wise and hourly data with us. In the future, in the second phase, we will make more and more data available for the state generator also. We are getting all the state on board, but it should be more visible. And I will assure you that when we reach in 2022, our data from RE will be as good as the conventional data.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That brings us to this point on the roles of institutions, sir. Like you said, at the state level, local level, there are institutions governing various aspects of the power sector, operations, planning, and this data has to flow right from the project level up till the national level to be part of this comprehensive portal as the portal progresses. So, sir, what are your thoughts on the role that institutions will have to play? As of now, they have been operating, they have been collecting some data has been reported, shared, some data has not been shared. Even that time when we began working on this, I remember you had mentioned that CA also has tough time getting some of this data, and that's a continuous process, sir, on dealing with these challenges. So, sir, what will you say of how institutions can be strengthened, or what changes need to be brought about at the institutional level so that flow of data is, like you said, as either automated or made simple for these institutions to share?
I will tell you two things. One is the regulatory framework. CA has already a regulation for information collection, but we ask from state level people a lot of data. But what in return we give? In all data analytic application, my past experience say, unless I show a benefit to the person who is giving me a data, my data flow will not be smooth. Like consider the case of one portal which we have made in 2015-16, Merit India. In Merit India, since beginning, we show them the benefit that by sharing this Merit India data, you will economize your power procurement. So everybody need an incentive to share the data. We will strengthen our regulatory framework also, and also we have CA has come up with a new scheme like Aadhaar card. For every generator, we have now registration system. Before giving them connectivity, some registration number is issued. So from birth, we are tagging them. After tagging, my objective is to be in touch with them whenever they are alive. Their first day generation data should come. So it was our objective that we keep on pressing our support staff, our engineers, that keep a watch on every plant. Since the beginning, first day, first time block, my data flow should start. One is the approach of this. And then we have to show them benefit. And that's where this portal role will come handy. By this renewable portal, we want to show them all India picture. That how other states' performance is there in renewable station. And I will show you concrete example that whenever renewable generation increase, prices in power market is affected. So by using this data as a raw data, they can make their system which help them in planning of their day-ahead operation, in the planning of their day-ahead procurement, and also the planning of the risk metrics like other investors. If one investor is coming, we should have a all states risk mapping, that how assets are performing there, how renewables are being allowed to operate as a must-run power plant there. So this as a portal is a multiple user, that by using this, a state can attract investment also. So it will be an incentive for them to share me a good data. I will show them the good performance. And whenever there will be weakness, they have to plug them so that the more renewable investment come to their state. I know here very good state like Karnataka. There, if you see their 15-minute block data, you will find they are trying to absorb as much renewable as possible. So from where this visibility comes, this dashboard will give visibility to investors that the Karnataka is a good RE investor friendly state. So unless this type of incentives are created, states will be reluctant to give data. So this type of incentive we are trying to create.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to actually ask you a follow-up question on this specific subject itself. We talked about national level, we talked about state level, somewhere in between is regional level. You also talked about an Aadhaar type ID for each project. If I were to say that, at the end of the day, each project should be contributing to a database to a national RE database via the state, via the region, however, but the foundation of that should be at the project level. Do you think there is some sort of hesitancy or reluctance on the part of developers or project owners to participate in this? And you pointed out that one of the ways to overcome reluctance and hesitancy is to show them the benefit that they can get collectively in terms of harnessing this data. So those 2 points, do you think there's a reluctance, and what can be done to help these developers overcome that reluctance?
Actually, our earlier thinking was also that because most of the RE projects are from international investors, so they are more comfortable to give data to their investor rather than to the government agency. But when we started the monitoring of SECI project, my officer get into touch with various renewable generators. And I find that they are very much eager to share the data. They are not reluctant to share the data. Only thing is that they do not want to put extra manpower for giving repeated data to everyone. They want that we should develop a such type of system that by least human intervention, as data which was given to single agency is reflected in all sort of databases. It should not be that at the 3 level officers, they keep on phoning, giving facts, giving emails, etc. So they want this process should be automated so that once they point the data or some metering type of their smart metering or automated devices, IoTs should be there, that their data should automatically flow to whoever wants. So in that endeavor, what is required is the more cooperation between Central Electricity Authority, RLDCs, RPCs, and SLDCs. So we have the less burden on the individual generator to share the data because already their data is being metered and monitored. So how we can collect and collect the data at one place without burdening him again and again for punching up the data, that is the required.
Thank you, sir. So that again, would have a follow-up question, sir. If you might tell us if some discussions are ongoing, how say Ministry of Power and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, CEA, Niti Aayog also recently they launched the India Energy Dashboard. So, sir, how some of these central government agencies can dovetail all of these efforts and sort of present to the wider stakeholder base a comprehensive portal? Do you think there are some discussions going on that side?
Yeah, I was associated with a lot of data dashboard with the Niti Aayog also. We have created an energy asset system for the all over India also. But what we find that any agency other than CA, if they try to make a dashboard, their enthusiasm died down after 1 or 2 years. For example, one Niti Aayog dashboard which was created in 2007-8 by Prayas, and again some version change again 2012, again some version change in 2017, and also there was no consistency in the data. They depends upon another organization for the data. CA has the regulatory power as per Act to collect all the data. So I will suggest that the power sector depository of data should be CA, and all other statutory organizations should help them to achieve it, this target. Whatever difficulty we are facing, we find that the POSOCO is very friendly and they helping every time to us to get the data. So similar help we are seeking from other HLDC also. Because any other source, if the data is created, there will be chances of inconsistency. Like MNRE try to have the data from our side. So unless they have arrangement of API-based data flow, always there will be data mismatch. So what we are trying to create through this website and also to CA website, first time we are trying to create a concept of API, that the user get the data automatically flow to their system, so that the both side data should matching. It should not be that in the Niti Aayog data 2012 power supply data is there. So we want a consistent single set of data flowing to everybody, and I am confident that CA can do this.
And so carrying on again on this point, on this data point, we in this dashboard today, of course, we capture daily generation. We capture it for all 7 types of renewable generation sources at a state level that's rolled up to a national level, as well as for the for subset of the ISGS plants. I think about 60, 67 of those. That's generation. What do you think the focus should be on the next set of data points that the dashboard should seek to incorporate, both from a balancing the point of balancing the value and the ease of doing it, from that perspective? What do you think the focus should be in the next phase?
Actually, in September 2020, we have made an effort that instead of only generation specific data, for a single project, all parameters should be monitored from inception to commissioning also. These parameters are financial closure, land, their connectivity issue, their transmission system, all things should be monitored at the single level. So from CA side, we have published one report of around 178 pages that from this particular report, everybody should aware the visibility of progress of all RE projects. All RE projects should be based on their financial closure, progress, etc. But we do not want to enter into this, maybe their financial structuring, like equity, loan, etc. Whatever they are uncomfortable to share, we do not want them. Whatever is the useful for our stakeholders, either in power sector, economy, policy, that only we want to get share. So next phase will be there, or we are ready to launch that phase also. All the existing ongoing projects can be monitored through this portal, through this RE renewable project. And this is giving very good inputs for our MNRE and Ministry of Power also, that by single click of the event, they can know what is the project status, when it will come, what is their tariff, because from CRC side, we are giving the tariff for all ISTS projects. So tariff can be input in that also, which DISCOM is purchasing power from this, because for RPO compliance, etc., one important information is there. What is the plan of the state? Why they are not signing PPA or PSA? How much they are actually purchasing renewable power? This need to be captured through this portal. So all the new projects which we are monitoring through SECI, shortly we will build this information, and we have already built in that who is the procurer of this power. Maybe after the gap, because sometimes there is a gap between PPA and PSA signing. So particular states are known. As early as it is known, we are putting up in our database. So this database will be our second stage, that we can know from which project where power is flowing.
So that brings us to a very important question, and we have the advantage of you being there, you starting this process, and now you being at the CERC, the Regulatory Commission. So you're wearing that hat as well today. So wanted to know, sir, that what role can ERCs play? Because we understand as per the framework that we follow is ERCs are entrusted to, like you said, maintain the best interest, all developments in the best interest of the consumer and the sector. And this kind of data, what you mentioned, what the data that is there right now, and even in future as we build the portal, this will be very important for ERCs also to consume and make several decisions on which assets should be approved, which assets are not in the best interest in generation planning. And so, sir, what do you think, how ERCs can be, they can be brought on board? They can, again, CA being the lead entity, like you said, capacity in the ERCs to consume this data and make proper decisions at the state level and at the national level. So some thoughts on that?
So honestly, I will want to give 2-3 statements here. When I reach CRC, as a general public, I also face the difficulty in accessing some data, because everywhere data is not easily available, and data is very important for making new regulations, new policy. There is a lot of misinformation in the sector about the balancing cost of renewable. Even many states on board, which are making a lot of infrastructure development in RE, are fearful about the balancing cost. And not only the balancing cost, also they are worried about the system operation also. So the responsibility of the agency which are at the central level is to make them less fearful, more confident, And this can be generated not by any thesis or etc. This confidence can be built using data only. Like today, we are thinking about new ancillary service mechanism. So when we plan a new ancillary mechanism, we should be able to support the states in balancing their imbalances. It should not be there that any state which are deploying more renewable is fearful that in the future either they have dangerous system operation, they have more balancing cost, or they are sharing burden of other states which are taking power from these home renewable rich states. So all these fears can be confidently taken only through data. So from CRC side also, whenever we are making any policy, any regulation, we are trying to make our decision based on good data analytics. And for that, we are continuously in the engagement with the state in the forum of regulator. Like whatever infrastructure are having at the regional level, we are trying to replicate data capturing capability at the lowest level possible in the state. I will give you one example of very good example. When we started the power procurement optimization plan in Telangana SLDC, they have no real-time data capturing facility from 33 kV station. But through KPMG and DIF project, we show them benefit that if you collect this backbone of all these 33 kV substation to your SLDC, all this expenditure you will cover within 3 months by optimizing your power procurement cost. So only by getting a good quality data, good software, like we are collecting IMD data also and sharing with the state. So data should not be a property of a single entity. Whatever data is collected, that should be shared with all stakeholders who have the cost benefit associated with that data. So this is our objective, that we are enlightening states to make their infrastructure, their regulatory system to collect more and more data. At least 15-minute time block data or 1 hour block data is must for having a good assessment that how much will be the balancing cost at which needed. It should not be depending on the futuristic 2029-30 that we will be able to manage, but how it will be the cost of this management, what will be the balancing cost ultimately, which is being paid by the consumer. All these things we are trying to get through a good data capturing and analytics.
So I'll just ask one more question, then Disha, perhaps it's time after that for you to make the closing remarks. Sir, do you think that that there's sufficient recognition in the policy, in the policy ecosystem that data disclosure represents perhaps the lowest cost way of mobilizing capital? We have as we've mentioned a couple of times already, the capital that is going to be required for 450 gigawatts is hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's not, that money is not lying within the borders of India. And India is competing with the rest of the world because, as it so happens, the energy transition is happening more or less at pace across the world. India is not special from that perspective. And I think it's incumbent on India to compete on every front it can. So, my question to you, sir, is there enough recognition in the policy ecosystem that data itself represents a great way of mobilizing that capital? And from an expenditure perspective, perhaps, negligible expenditure.
Actually, what had happened when the new government came in 2014, we came up with a flurry of applications. Lot of data is being shared, but the main purpose of that data was to performance and transparency. For mopping out the international finance, it was never focused. As a chief engineer of cyber security and IT, I find that it is the least in the all states. Whenever we travel, we find the IT and the data analytics is the least romantic profession. They think that only at the month end some reports are published. These reports travel to the ministries and that's all. Never it has become clear that how this data can be utilized for the country finance. Because in Paris Agreement, developed country give us the commitment of giving both technology and finance So it is our responsibility to attract them. So this attraction can be possible only through make our most and most data public available and in the presentable form. It should not be in rather a report of data only. We should give them very good reports for analysis purpose. Like I am competing with your report, with your dashboard. I am competing now with IEA, that International Energy Association, whatever report they are publishing, our report should be like that only, that should be quoted. Like Bloomberg's reports, Indians reports should be quoted for the investor confidence. We know we have a lot of data, but what is happening, this data is not collected and presented properly.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Disha. Thank you, sir. Over to you,
Thank you,
Disha.
sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. I think you ended on a very positive and high note, sir. With that ambition, I think all of us get this guidance that we continue to take this direction. There's a good baseline that we have in the form of this portal. It's a lot of information already there. And as you pointed out, sir, there's the portal can be enhanced to serve various functions in the future that can enable India to successfully, seamlessly reach our targets, also attracting investors, both domestic and international investors to our country. And like you said, the first hurdle of having time series downloadable data in the form of a transparent portal is very much we have been able to work towards that. And greatly appreciate your support, sir, and everyone at CEA in crossing this first hurdle. And as we move forward, what we understood from you, sir, that there is much scope to demonstrate the benefit of such a portal. So maybe in consultation with you, with CA team and other stakeholders as well, we have Suniji here, how we can demonstrate actually. So the next step will be that I understand we have to demonstrate to industry players, to states, that this will be helpful for them. So maybe starting on from what we already have, we tell them that these are the kinds of features that can help you. So sort of gradually solving that bottleneck as well. And going forward, integrating the portal with real-time and past generation data from all the projects, in addition to ISGS projects, having data around curtailment, balancing resources optimization, power procurement optimization, proper automation of flow of data, so that the data providers don't have to provide that data again and again. So with that, sir, I understand that this CA could be the champion of this effort, even moving forward, and making this dashboard a really transparent and a comprehensive one for all stakeholders. And we would greatly value your support to see that this portal goes on to become that one comprehensive portal which India can base all its insights and evidence generation and policy making on, and hope that this, like you said, sir, this portal continues to be an important one and a go-to reference portal for all in the RE sector and beyond. Thank you so much.
First, I have one last word. I want to thank Disha, Kanika, Shreya, Nikhil, Vikas, OP Meena, everybody in CA, my guru, Shri Sandesh Sharma, and my guide for life, Shri Mr. Suni, Mr. Maske sir, and Mr. Gagan sir. Thank you all for your cooperation and making this project successful. And I will say one thing, to accomplish great thing, we must not only act, but also dream, not only plan, but also believe. And you people have made my belief successful and fruitful. Thank you very much to all my guides and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
for
sir.
the very kind words, sir. We hope to continue our association with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. That
Thank you, sir.
concludes today's session. Thanks again to everybody, and hope to see you soon as we further develop this dashboard into better and greater things. Thank you all.